right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. So we're going to talk about this Conor McGregor and Tony Ferguson thing. At first glance, right? First glance, it's like Tony Ferguson puts up a post where he's clearly, he's clearly coping with the fact that he didn't have a good performance. He's showing, he's really getting after it, and then he said some things about why it's going to be different this time. We're going to go over all that, and then Conor McGregor comes over the top and, summarize, because we're going to go over that also. He's like, hey, I haven't forgotten. I'm still going to smash you. And at that point, Tony responds, and in my opinion, reveals a lot about what happened between the two of them, and also opens the door for me to talk about some important things related to fighter management, okay? Because at the end of the day, there is one very specific reason why you would choose to have Paradigm manage you, right? Like Conor McGregor owns Paradigm, in case you guys are unclear on that. And I think that the pitch is very simple. And also, given the fact that we have all this drama with MMA managers, in this lawsuit that's coming around, and I'll speak about that. This basically allows me to talk about Tony Ferguson's beef with Conor, what the conflict, the management conflict came from, and then I'll also talk about the management game in general and what I expect to be the big reveals coming out of the the unveiling of, or the unsealing of a bunch of information related to the what do you call it? The lawsuit, oh my God. Come on, class action lawsuit. Jeez, man. Good Lord. Anyway, and then also I wanted to show you guys this interesting article right here where Darren Till believes that Conor will never fight again and he's struggling to let go. So he makes some good points. I'm curious whether or not you guys think that he's projecting or not, or if you really think that, it's a very interesting article. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on it also. So if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that. That's the cost. We're at 18,940 or something like that. We need 60 subscribers to get to 120,000 or 119,000. Hey, excellent job, Jesse. Your brain is really hitting on all cylinders. I know. I think I have COVID. Wait, what? Are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. I really do. I really believe that I do. And so this is what virus face looks like. So anyway, but yeah, if you don't mind liking the video, that would be incredible. I'm serious, actually. If you guys, all my subscribers, if you could just click like, that would be amazing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. I love you guys. Thank you. All right. So let's rock and roll. Let's start with the Tony Ferguson stuff, since I'm sure that's what I'm going to title it. So Tony put this up, right? He's kicking, punching the bag, looks good. I mean, I think it's fair to say that 99.999999999% of people who exist on Earth would get utterly smashed by Tony Ferguson. The problem is that the people who are outside of that 99.9999999% happen to be the top 15 guys in the UFC. And when you get to a place where Tony's at, he can't just go fight nobodies, dude. Like you can't just have like contender series guys come in and have Tony the hell out of him, because he's too big for that, dude. He's too big for that. That's not the sport we're in. A guy loses to the top guys. You give him someone, give him Bobby Green. Bobby Green is an exceptional fighter. Don't get me wrong, but Bobby Green is not a top 5 guy. He loses to Bobby Green, gets finished by Bobby Green. 6th in a row, 5th, whatever it is. What are you going to do? So this post, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I hate this stuff, dude. So the post itself looks like this. Oh wait, apparently this was, okay, so look. Haven't sparred well since Barbosa or Thompson. Only time I find myself in a cage is when I fight. Since the pandemic, none of this has been fun. I used to smile a lot more when I was competing. Been so busy taking care of others instead of myself. Wait, what? Okay, so he did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not trying to be addicted, but like, if we're talking about brain damage, I just have to point this out. He spelled more, MOAR, and then he did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then continued 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like, hey, dude, you forgot about 6. Anyway, created boundaries between those who are bad for me, structured myself so I don't make the same mistakes. No, I'm not retiring, and fuck those who think I should. Come on, man. I have work to do, and I am one pissed off MF. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Tony Ferguson was the boogeyman for real. He's the scariest guy ever. He's so scary. Can you imagine standing across the octagon from that guy when he was just a few years ago? But this is that moment that's sad. Like, because there's this level. So like the kind of guy who would be that scary, there's just this level of kind of insanity to him. That's why they're so crazy. That's why they're so scary. Is this like level of kind of like delusion. And that never looks good at the end, man. It just doesn't look good at the end. If you ask Tony Ferguson, in all seriousness, if you were like, do you think that there's a chance that you could get back to the title? He'll tell you yes. Absolutely guaranteed. You'd be like, you think that there's a chance that you could win the 155-pound title? You say, yeah. Be like, what about 170? Be like, yeah, I could probably win that too. You're like, okay. You know what I mean? He's not going to listen. He's not going to listen to anybody. So anyway, that was what happened, right? And then Conor came back and said the following. He's like, I'm going to end you badly. I have not forgot, right? And so everyone's like, oh, what's he talking about? Now, Conor used to manage Tony Ferguson, okay? He was Tony Ferguson's manager. Tony Ferguson was one of the early guys at Paradigm. Paradigm is Conor McGregor's management company. Audi runs it. You know, they've had some issues lately because, oh my God, names are irrelevant. Whatever. The head guy or the top agent that they had, who was not Audi, who was like was an employee. You know, Audi owns it with Conor, and then their top agent, who was an employee, was managing Leon Edwards, Israel Adesanya, and a bunch of other guys, like big top guys, right? And he asked for equity in the company. They said no. He left. Boom. All the guys went with him. I mean, like all of them. All of their stars left Paradigm and went with him. They should have given him equity. Obviously, this is a hindsight situation. I don't know if I would have done it either. Like, I don't know enough to say like, oh, they made a huge gaping mistake that there's no way I would have made. And in hindsight, it's a huge mistake. Should have given him equity. But what? Huge mistake. Should have given him equity. I don't know if I would have made the same mistake. So I'm not judging anybody. It just, this is played out now. All the champions and big games went with him. So they're kind of, obviously that was the wrong decision to not give it to him. Okay, so this guy, Perry Punch says, wait, Conor McGregor used to work for Tony Ferguson? And Tony Ferguson says, there's my bitch. Took a few to get your attention. I remember when you used to work for me and I fired your ass for not doing your job. When you're done signing your legal issues, When you're done signing your legal issues, sign the dotted line, coward chump. Champ shit only. So what he's saying is the reason that he left Paradigm is because they weren't doing their job. Okay, well, what's the job of a manager, right? The job of the manager is to promote the fighter that they're managing, negotiate good deals for them with the UFC, find brand ambassador deals that they can promote, right? Hey, we got this thing with DraftKings. They want to do a blah, blah, blah. Hey, we got this thing with this company. They want to do a blah, blah, blah. They bring you deals. You do the deals. They pay, they make 10, 20, 30%. But I don't know. I have no idea what the percentages are. And that's how that goes, right? Now, let me ask you a common sense question. Why would you have Conor McGregor? Okay. Well, like you have lots of options, right? You can have Ali Abdelaziz can represent you. Lloyd at Vayner can represent you. Blah, 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 blah can, manage you. Why would you choose Conor's outfit specifically, right? This is a simple reason. It's because Conor has the ability to promote the living shit out of you if he shares his platform with you, right? And here's the thing about this, right? The pitch for someone to, be repped by Paradigm is obvious. You're going to be on Conor's team. You get to be connected to Conor's brand. Conor will promote you. Conor will help you get tied to things that he does. Conor has tremendous negotiating power because he's the most valuable person in the sport. So that's why you should let us rep you. So there's a very simple way to measure whether or not they're doing their job. How many times has Conor promoted me on his social media? How many strategic things have we done where Conor tied me to his brand? Right? I mean, then there's like the brand ambassador deals and all that, but specifically the big portion of that is he leveraging his platform to promote me? Now, let me ask you a common sense question here. How is Conor McGregor supposed to promote Tony Ferguson when they're in the same division? Okay. Like that's, you know what I mean? Conor's still a fighter, especially back then. Tony's one of the number one contenders, and Conor's going to be like, hey guys, I just want everyone to know Tony Ferguson's with us, dude. He's with Paradigm. We're taking over the world. That doesn't make any sense. It wasn't a good fit to begin with, obviously, because Conor can't deliver on that while maintaining his own brand. Conor's a fuck the world. I'm with me and my team, and we're killing all of you guys. How on earth is he supposed to promote Tony Ferguson? Explain that to me. How? You know, maybe behind the scenes, he's like, look, you take care of me. You got to take care of Tony Ferguson. Look, Tony's one of my guys. You're going to give me a new deal. You got to take care of him. Dude, he's doing good things. Maybe. So if you're not doing that, then whatever. Now, I'll ask another common sense question, though. Does Tony seem like a guy who would be easy to work with? You know, seem like a guy who would be super easy to work with? Probably not. I'm just going to throw that out there. But that brings up just management in general, because like I was saying I think I said this in the preamble. If I didn't, let me say it now. There's all this drama coming out with the class action lawsuit. This is happening, right? This class action lawsuit is happening. It's going forward. I think they're going to do it in March. I was just talking to Chris from MMA Uncensored on Instagram about this today. He's got an interview dropping with a bunch of these guys, Kung Lee and all them. And there's going to be a bunch of documents unsealed, and some of it apparently implicates MMA managers as being very unscrupulous. And what I was saying to him is that there are basically 3 tiers of management, okay? And I made this up. He's like, did you make that up on your own? I'm like, yeah. But I mean, it's not like rocket science. You got 3 tiers of managers, okay? Tier 1, Ali Abdelaziz, Paradigm, Lloyd, Vayner, these guys that are like, these are the top guys. They represent the top. They are the top managers, and they represent the top guys, right? They have great relationships, with the brands and the UFC, etc. They're going to provide a lot of value to people who are already valuable, because their time is valuable, their effort is valuable. They're not gonna rep you if you just came off Contender Series. They'll wait until you're really good, and then they will take you from whoever's currently repping you, right? Okay, so that's tier 1. Then you have tier 3, right? Tier 3 are people who know a person, and so the fighter trusts them. They're like potentially their coach, or there's someone who is a small-time manager, but they're like, listen, man, I trust you to do right by me, whatever. So they might do a great job, might do whatever. There's no like blanket statement about that tier. Tier 3, someone that they know and trust generally, who doesn't represent a bunch of really high name guys, and also doesn't represent a big volume of guys. Then you have tier 2, okay? Tier 2 is where I expect there to be potentially a bunch of stuff unsealed. Maybe. I mean, I don't have any idea, so I am not throwing accusations at anyone. But there's this other tier, which are these guys who represent a shitload of guys, right? Because bottom line, someone comes in on Contender Series and they don't have a manager, and Dana's like, or whoever, they're like, hey, do you have a manager? And they're like, no. They're like, well, we could recommend you someone, and then it's this guy or this guy. And these guys represent 200 fighters or whatever. How on earth is someone who manages that many people going to negotiate, maximize your value inside of a Paradigm like that? What? You see that? Paradigm. But inside of a Paradigm where they represent 200 people, how on earth are they going to drive a hard bargain? They could collectively bargain, right? They could collectively bargain. But my point is that's why they're there, is because the UFC needs insurance that doesn't happen. Because you want to know what that sounds like? If 200 people all of a sudden are like, we're holding out, sounds like a fighter union, right? So my point is that these managers who manage 200 people, okay, they kind of work for the UFC if you think about it. Because in all actuality, that's why the UFC feeds people to them, because the UFC needs insurance against people unionizing, because that fucks everything up, right? So my point, I don't know anything. I'm just saying, if I was going to hypothesize, I would hypothesize that there could be communications between those guys, the organization, that might look bad. Maybe. I don't have any idea. But if I was going to guess, that's where I would guess it was. Someone, people, when I was talking to people about this, they're all, oh, I bet it's Ali Abdelaziz. I'm like, I bet you it's not. Why would it be Ali Abdelaziz? He represents top guys. You think he's going to and also, have you ever watched any like footage of him or Markel, perfect, like Markel, Ali, these guys, like there is literally no indication that these guys have done anything other than try to do the best job that they can for their fighters. Lloyd too, any of these guys. I mean, I know people have conflicts with their fighters, but I will tell, my point is these tier 1 guys, it's not going to be them, dude. It's just not going to be them. It's going to be, it might be some tier 3, maybe, and then, tier 2 is where I would guess. It's not going to be tier 1, because why would they do it? Why would a tier 1 guy, why? Why would they throw their fighters under the bus? They have the best guys. Anyway, okay, so moving along to this part. Okay, so Darren Till spoke about Conor McGregor, and he said he thinks Conor McGregor will never fight again. He's struggling to let it go. Now, I will say, before we even get into this, one of the reasons I found this interesting is because of where Darren Till is. I'm like, is he just projecting on Conor? Is this him projecting, or is this really what he thinks? And then, but I really think he made some really good points here, right? So I'm just going to skip to what he said specifically. So Darren Till says, Conor's never coming back, in my opinion. Conor's struggling to let go. He doesn't want to let it go, but it's time to let go. He's older. He doesn't train like he used to. He's got the money and his beautiful kids. And the only problem is that he just doesn't want to let it go. There's going to come a day when he realizes he's fighting with himself and he has to let it go. Every recording on Twitter, he's just drunk as fuck. And I'm crying my eyes out laughing at him. I don't think he means anything negative by that, because I think he just thinks Conor's hilarious. It will take him a while, but he'll find his peace. My opinion, Conor, is you have to respect what he's done, but it's time to let go. He's struggling to let go. So, again, I don't think he's making bad points here, right? I don't think he's making a bad point about Conor. Maybe does. First of all, I have no idea how he would know whether he's training like he used to or not. I mean, he's obviously not training like he's in a training camp, but it's really crazy that this article came out today, because I was thinking about this specifically, where I'm like, dude, it's been 2.5 years. If Conor is not if he's not all in on the training, he's up against a dude who is completely all in on training. It's distracting, whatever. He can't come out and just get starched again. So he's going to fight Michael Chandler. This is going to happen. Now we're just in this stupid. As a matter of fact, let me talk about that really quick. So now we know that Conor is coming back, right? He's coming back and he's going to fight Michael Chandler. It's probably not going to be in December, because USADA really is enforcing this 6-month thing, which I'm not saying is like the worst thing ever. All I'm saying is that Michael Chandler doesn't care. He's the one who's fighting him. Chandler's the one who's fighting him. And if Chandler's like, dude, I don't need this 6-month thing, man. What are we doing? And Chandler said specifically, he's like, what about the guy who came in on a week's notice to fight Bo Nickel? Did he have to be in USADA for 6 months? No. He had to pass one test. So what are we doing here? Are we just doing this to check a box? And it's because Conor is such a public guy that, they don't want to look like they're doing special allowances. I'm really shocked by this outcome. As anybody who watches my content knows, I was very confident that Conor, they were going to give him an exemption. But I don't know. Anyway, continuing back here. So maybe he's not struggling to let it go. Maybe he's going to come back and prove us all wrong. He might just not be ready in terms of testing, or he just wants to keep his name out there and he's thinking in terms of next year. It's tough to know. He's a smarter businessman than most, so you have to trust what he's doing. See, that's what I was going to say. I mean, listen, dude. Conor's value is in his publicity. That's where it's at. So Till adds, I need to fight now. I am so ready to fight. I've put a lot of time and effort and hard work in. As you can see, my shape has changed considerably this year. I've really dedicated myself this year. I really have. I just can't wait to fight now. Mike Perry, Logan Paul, Dylan Dennis, Jake Paul, Nate Diaz, any fucking one, any fucking time, I'm ready. So it's interesting that Logan Paul had Mike Perry as the backup for Dylan Dennis. You know what, honestly, maybe because Darren Till's too big of a star. I think, first of all, Darren Till's too good. But Mike Perry's a monster now, dude. In boxing. But Darren Till is nasty. I don't know. Maybe he's, you know what I mean? Like that, like Dylan, Mike Perry I can see back up, but like Darren Till is a big name. If you're going to do a fight with him, you just do a fucking fight. You know what I mean? Anyway, I've been talking long enough. Love you guys. Peace. Subscribe to the channel.